Hi, you clicked on this video because you wanted something bold, right? Don't worry, you're in the right place. Now waiting, no dragging it out. This story gives you everything you came for. If you're a regular here, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Let's begin. His breath was hot against my neck when he leaned in and whispered, "Does your husband ever make you feel like this?" I didn't answer right away. I couldn't. My palms were pressed to the edge of the sink. The cool granite grounding me, Ash's hands held my hips like he already knew the answer. I swallowed, then managed a breathless smirk. "Does your wife let you do this to her?" I shot back, leaning into him, letting my body do the answering. He let out a sound that was somewhere between a laugh and a growl. "You didn't answer." I didn't need to. My body already had. The heat between us wasn't just physical. It was the kind that came from getting away with something, from knowing we shouldn't, from knowing we weren't even close to stopping. My heart pounded harder with every second we kept going, like it could sense the moment was borrowed, like it knew we were seconds away from something breaking. I reached back for him without thinking. He caught my wrists, steadier than my husband ever had, and held them firmly against the counter. It sent a jolt through me, the kind I hadn't felt in years, not at home, not in my own bed. Ryan's mouth was at my ear again. "You love how she has no idea." That name, she flickered through my mind like a warning light. Her face, her voice, the friend who trusted me. But then his finger slid down, slow and deliberate, pulling the air from my lungs, and the thought was gone. I bit my lip hard. The rhythm quickened, less careful, more urgent, like we both knew we didn't have much time. The pace between us grew heavier, the kitchen filled with the sound of hurried movement and restless motion. Ryan. He moved again, deliberate and sudden, and I gripped the counter as my breath caught in his palm. That was what Ryan did to me, what my husband couldn't. Everything else faded. He filled the space my husband never could. I was gone, lost in the hush of motion and the weight of him behind me until I looked up. Claire. She was already there, standing in the doorway, arms crossed, watching us, and we couldn't even stop. I was frozen, but Ryan wasn't. The second I saw her, everything inside me screamed to stop. My hands pushed forward, trying to break his momentum, to pull away, but he didn't let me. His arms locked tighter around my waist, holding me in place like he knew I'd panic, like he was ready for it. "Wait!" I gasped, but it came out broken. Half breath and half plea. He didn't slow down. He drew me back with even more force, and my hand slammed into the counter. The words I meant to say vanished under the weight of him behind me. He kept moving, steady, relentless, and my body betrayed me instantly. She was still there, arms crossed. I expected screaming, rage, something. Instead, she tilted her head and set her purse on the table like she'd just come home from work. Then she took off her coat, draped it neatly over the back of a chair, and sat. Her eyes never left me. "You two seem to be behaving fun," she said, her voice light, almost amused. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. My pulse was everywhere. My neck, my chest, my stomach. I was still rocking with the momentum he kept driving, caught in his grip. Too aware of every movement, every sound, every second of her watching us. Ryan didn't even hesitate. "Yeah," he breathed out behind me, grinning. "She's amazing." And then he moved with more intent, like he wanted to prove it. I let out a sound I couldn't catch in time. My knees buckled. Claire smiled. My thoughts were a blur. I tried to look at her to read her expression, but all I could feel was the way he moved against me, steady and consuming. I was lost in it, watched, and neither of them seemed to be in any kind of hurry. Claire crossed her legs slowly like she was settling in. Then she leaned forward, opened her purse, and pulled out her phone. She pressed it to her ear and turned slightly away, but not all the way. "Good news," she said, her voice cheerful, casual. "Yeah, it's finally happening." I didn't know who she was talking to. I couldn't even think straight. I was bracing myself on the counter, breath catching with every shift of pressure, moving on autopilot while my mind tried to make sense of anything. She ended the call, slid the phone back into her purse, and stood. Then she started undressing. Her eyes met mine, locked there, and didn't let go as she slowly slipped her shirt over her head. Then the skirt. No rush, no shame. She let it fall and walked forward, her gaze holding mine like a secret. Slow, soundless, bare. I didn't understand. My brain couldn't keep up. She was undressing, walking toward us, while I was still shifting, still being held in place. And Ryan stopped. My back tensed with the final echo of motion, and then everything hung in that silence. No signal, no whisper, just stillness. His hands on my hips, his breath hovered at my neck, waiting. He didn't pull away. He just held me there, waiting for her. Claire reached me. She stood in front of me, calm and quiet. Her fingers touched my chin, then lifted it steady and slow. I couldn't speak. She leaned in and kissed me. I didn't know what the kiss meant. I just knew I couldn't move. Claire pulled back slowly, lips still close, eyes locked to mine. Her fingers brushed my jaw, softer than they should have been, and her hand slid down until it found mine. She didn't speak. I just followed. My legs were unsteady. My breath caught halfway up my throat. I could still feel Ryan behind me, silent and near, his presence like a second pulse. We moved through the living room together. Claire rolled me to the couch, stopped, and turned to him. No words, just a glance. Ryan sat. Then she guided me again, lower this time, into his lap. I settled there, back against his chest. He adjusted beneath me with that same steady confidence, his arms wrapping around my waist like nothing had changed, like we were picking up right where we left off. And then he shifted beneath me, slower, more deliberate, like every motion was meant to linger. Claire leaned in, standing between my knees, her gaze never leaving mine. She kissed me, soft, slow, open-mouthed, and her hands slid over my thighs like she was claiming them. She didn't rush. She didn't ask. She just moved how she wanted to, and I let her. Then her lips drifted downward, leaving warmth behind down my chest, over my stomach. Her hands never left my skin, just followed, steady and warm. When she dropped to her knees, I felt the shift, not just in height, but in heat. Her breath hovered low, teasing where she hadn't touched. Ryan moved behind me, slow and steady, his hands on my hips, anchoring me, as Claire leaned forward. Her mouth kept moving slow and unhurried. I gasped, quiet, sharp, and reached for something, anything. My fingers found Ryan's wrists, my legs tensed, but her hands guided them still, completely in her rhythm. He pulled me closer, steady and sure. She pressed in, and I forgot who was doing what. My head fell back onto Ryan's shoulder. My lips parted with words I never finished. My chest rose with every breath she stole. Every time I thought I might fall over that edge, she slowed just enough to keep me from tipping. She was playing me, not just physically, but fully. And then it overwhelmed me. Sharp, breathless, impossible to hold back. My voice caught in my throat, then broke free with one sharp cry that didn't even sound like me. Ryan held me tighter. Claire didn't move. She just waited while it all rolled through me, wave after wave, like she knew it wouldn't stop right away. Then finally she stood, walked across the room, picked up her phone from the side table, tapped the screen, looked pleased. "I know this is a lot," she said, her voice softer now, "and you're probably still trying to understand what this is." She opened a nearby drawer, pulled out a piece of cloth, and walked toward me, still bare, still calm, still completely in control. "But we have one more surprise for you." She reached out and tied the cloth around my eyes. The world disappeared. "You can come in now," she called. I heard footsteps, a new set getting closer, and then I heard something else. A clink, a faint slide, a belt buckle, the sound of it loosening. I wanted to scream. Everything in me was shaking. My breath, my thoughts, my legs still trembling from what had just happened. I couldn't see him. Couldn't stop it. Didn't even know who he was. Claire had called him in. Ryan was still behind me, holding me steady, and no one said a word. Then I heard it. The soft slide of fabric, the clink of a belt buckle against the tile, the steady sound of footsteps getting closer. It flinched, but Ryan's hands didn't move. They stayed right where they were, firm, grounding me like anchors. I wanted to stop this, but my body didn't listen. And then I felt him closer now. The stranger's breath moved near my neck, the space between us closing with unnerving calm. His hands touched my legs and eased them farther apart, slow and confident. I gasped when his body pressed fully into mine. No pause, no warning. It wasn't a question. It was already happening, and I couldn't pretend it wasn't. I didn't want to make a sound, but it escaped anyway. Raw, uncontrolled. Claire giggled behind me, her arms wrapping around my chest like she'd been waiting for this. He moved with rhythm that demanded nothing yet took everything. My body responded before I could think. Claire kissed my cheek, whispering something soft into my ear. Words I couldn't hold on to, only feel. They made no sense. And yet they did, then everything shifted. Arms lifted Megan, guiding me forward, lowering me down. And I didn't know whose they were anymore. I was eased onto him, skin to skin, breath to breath. The couch adjusted beneath us as he settled under me, his hands firm at my waist, coaxing me to move. I braced for more, but he didn't rush. He just moved with quiet control, like he already knew how far I'd go. Who is he? He was beneath me now, solid, patient, in control, and somehow I was already moving. Not by choice, by momentum. Claire kissed Megan and I realized I had given in completely. Everything blurred. Heat, skin, air. I couldn't hold on to anything. Her hand came to the back of my head and pressed lightly, guiding me lower. I followed without asking why. Then another grip. Steady. Sure. I felt the shift behind me as someone aligned with me, fitting into place. My breath caught with a jolt that tore through my chest, and my body folded between them. No one stopped. They moved together, fitting, sinking, knowing, and I couldn't escape even if I wanted to. I could barely think, but I moved. There were two of them now. One beneath, one behind, surrounding me from both sides while Claire stayed close, her hand cupping my face, her mouth warm against my ear, keeping me here in every way. My legs trembled again. Every rhythm pulled me higher, tighter, closer to something I wasn't ready to name. I was floating on the edge, stretched thin enough to break. I couldn't hold on, couldn't think. My thoughts scattered, dissolved. All that remained was motion, pressure, breath, and the rush of something I couldn't stop. Then the man beneath me shifted, rising just enough. One hand steadied my back, the other lifted. He pulled off the fabric covering my eyes. Light flooded back in. The blur sharpened, eyes, skin, and then a face I knew. He looked right at me with a calm smile. Michael, my husband. And then he spoke, let go. He moved once more. Slow, complete, certain. And I broke into pieces I couldn't hold together. That's the end of the story. Now, I really want to know, did it land for you? Was there a moment that stuck with you? Something that didn't sit right? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Your feedback honestly helps me make these better. And before you head out, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.